Hello you all, thanks for coming back out for another speech. Again, my name is Staff Sergeant Ellis. Got a quick question for you all. How many of you have been told that you just don't have what it takes to achieve in something, whether it be work-related, military-wise, or educational bound? Well, the person I'm going to speak to you about today had to face those same difficult decisions. Could you imagine going into your guidance counselor's office and being told that you have zero or no aptitude in a specific subject, for instance, science or history, or saying you have no aptitude in math, which means that basically you're going to be a failure when you grow up? Well, that's what this person was told. As a radiology tech working in the medical field, I can personally tell you that this person's achievements in life have tremendously affected the medical field and have allowed many of us as wounded warriors to receive optimum care for the numerous medical issues that we all are here for. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you about my speaker. His name is Peter Mansfield. I'm going to tell you about his early years, I'm going to tell you about his education, and I'm going to tell you about his greatest achievement. At the young age of 15, Peter Mansfield was 15 years old. He went to the guidance counselor's office and was told just that. You have no aptitude in science. And you wouldn't believe what he decided to do. He dropped out of school. Out of all the things you can do, he dropped out of school. And in our society today, if you drop out of school, it's going to be detrimental. Well, Peter Mansfield was born in London, 1933. His father, Sidney Mansfield, was the eldest of 5 children. His mother, the youngest of 3. She wasn't working at the time, and she took care of his 2 brothers and himself at home. His brothers' names are Conrad and Sidney. Peter, as you know now, dropped out of high school at 15. He spent several years as a menial worker, or unskilled worker, at a Ministry of Supply for the Rocket Propulsion Department. He was also called to serve 2 years in the British military from 1952 to 1954. So basically nothing spectacular at this point is going on in Mr. Peter Mansfield's life. So now we move on to his education. He went to high school, dropped out, and you're wondering why am I speaking about him today? Well, Peter Mansfield received his BS in physics from the University of London in 1959 at the age of 26. He didn't stop there though. He also received his PhD in physics from the same university in 1962. He later worked as a professor at the University of Nottingham in the UK from 1964 to 1983, and again from 1988 to 1994. There was about 5 years there that I didn't mention. And during that time, he spent working at the University of Nottingham doing research on his greatest achievement. In 1972, Peter began focusing on something called line narrowing process. This was the birth of MRI. Yes, I said it, MRI. Peter worked on the precursor to MRI, which is nuclear magnetic resonance. It was called NMR at the time. And in 2003, Peter Mansfield, along with Paul Lauterbur, received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. This invention is what makes it possible for neurosurgeons to replace bones which are fractured in the spinal cords, and it allows radiologists to see things such as stress fractures and damage to muscle tissue which are not visible on your typical radiographs. MRIs have better resolution than CTs. They have no ionizing radiation, so you don't have to worry about radiating those cells when you go in to get an MRI. They are time consuming, but they also allow doctors to figure out what the damaging effects of the traumatic brain injuries which many of our fellow soldiers are suffering from this day. So to reiterate what I have went over thus far, Peter Mansfield, born in 1933, was a high school dropout at the age of 15, but he had high hopes. He completed his secondary education at night school while working in the supply room, graduated from the University of London with his BS in physics and his PhD in physics. He served as a professor at the University of Nottingham in the UK, and he researched nuclear magnetic resonance, which has led to the development of MRI. He was later knighted in 1993, which I didn't tell you about, so technically we call him Sir Peter Mansfield. In 2003, he received the Nobel Prize in Physiology and or medicine. Could you hit that light outside, please, for me? Just remember, don't let anybody tell you that you can't achieve in life. Their opinion of your life does not reflect the potential end result. Your back's on it. When faced with difficult decisions in life, I like to reflect upon a poem. Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the road less traveled by. It's a poem by Robert Frost. And basically what that poem is saying is, don't let someone else dictate your life. You can either go down the road that everyone else took when he was told that he has no aptitude in science, or you can do what Sir Peter Mansfield did and continue to strive on and continue to achieve. So thank you again for coming in and participating in this speech. I have some handouts for you all, which I'll hand out shortly after I'm completed. Thank you.